In recent years, many high functioning women have begun asking a different question. Not, what is wrong with me, but have I been masking something my entire life? Autistic traits in women often present differently from the stereotypical image most of us were taught. They do not always look like social withdrawal. They do not always look like obvious communication difficulty. They do not always match the early diagnostic descriptions developed around young boys. In high functioning women, these traits can look like competence, they can look like empathy, they can look like success. Today, I want to walk through 16 commonly overlooked autistic traits that may appear in high functioning women. Not to diagnose, I don't do that anymore. I am a former medical doctor. Not to label, because diagnosis is ultimately a label applied by someone qualified to apply it, but to bring nuance. And importantly, to speak about overlap with trauma and nervous system conditioning, because presentation is not the same as origin. Trait number 1, chronic masking. Many high-functioning women with autistic traits learn early how to observe, copy, and adapt socially. They rehearse conversations. They monitor facial expressions. They match tone and body language. Masking becomes automatic, and it is exhausting. Trait number 2, social exhaustion after appearing confident. You may perform well in meetings, presentations, or social gatherings and then collapse privately. Not because you dislike people, because sustained social monitoring consumes energy. Trait number 3, deep emotional sensitivity. Autistic traits do not exclude empathy. Many high-functioning women experience intense emotional attunement. You may absorb other people's moods quickly. The distinction is not about whether empathy exists, it's about how emotional input is processed and regulated internally. Trait number 4, a strong need for predictability. Changes in plans may feel disproportionately destabilizing, not because you're rigid, because predictability reduces cognitive load. When the environment is stable, the nervous system settles. Trait number 5, sensory sensitivity that is minimized or internalized. Bright lights, certain fabrics, background noise, strong smells, you may tolerate them outwardly while internally bracing. Over time, that bracing becomes normal. Trait number 6, intense interests that appear socially acceptable. Autistic traits can include focused, immersive interests. In high-functioning women, these may center around psychology, literature, health, research, or human systems. Because these interests are socially valued, they are seen as intelligence rather than being different. Trait number 7, perfectionism linked to belonging. High standards can develop as compensation. If I perform well, I will not be excluded. If I get it right, I'll be safe. This overlaps strongly with attachment conditioning. Trait number 8, discomfort with ambiguity. You may understand a metaphor intellectually, but you feel uneasy when the communication is vague. Unclear expectations can create stress. Precision and accuracy feels so much safer than assumptions. Trait number 9, difficulty identifying your internal state. Now, some women with autistic traits describe difficulty in identifying hunger, fatigue, or emotional until they become intense. You push through and then you crash. This can reflect differences in interoception, and it can be amplified by years of self-override. Trait number 10, shutdown rather than visible overwhelm. Instead of dramatic reactions, stress may lead to withdrawal, silence, numbness, cognitive fog. High-functioning women often internalize their distress. Trait 11, a lifelong sense of just being slightly different, not dramatically, just subtly. You may have felt out of sync socially without ever fully comprehending why. So You learn to adapt. Trait number 12, rejection sensitivity. Criticism may feel physically painful, not just disappointing, actually destabilizing. This overlaps with ADHD patterns and trauma conditioning, which is why it can be difficult to untangle. Trait 13, strong moral clarity. Under stress, thinking may become more binary. This can appear rigid, but often it is nervous system protection. Certainty reduces perceived threat. Trait 14, a deep need for solitude to recalibrate. Time alone restores capacity. Without it, irritability increases, and solitude is not indulgence, it is regulation. Trait 15, analytical approach to social interactions. You may study people, observe patterns, test responses, refine that performance. And this can make you highly skilled socially. It can also keep you pretty tired. Trait 16, burnout preceding the recognition. Many high-functioning women only begin exploring autistic traits after experiencing burnout themselves, when compensation no longer works, when masking becomes unsustainable, when the body refuses to keep paying the cost. Burnout often becomes the turning point. Now let's add some nuance. Many autistic traits overlap with trauma conditioning and nervous system adaptation. Hypervigilance can look like social analysis. Attachment insecurity can look like rejection sensitivity. Perfectionism can grow from conditional love. Shutdown can follow chronic stress. This is why careful assessment matters. And this is why self-comprehension must go deeper than labels. Traits describe behaviour. They do not automatically explain origin. Whether these patterns are developmental, adaptive, or a combination of both, the nervous system still requires safety. Recognition can reduce shame, but regulation restores capacity. If you recognize yourself here, do not rush towards a conclusion. Instead, ask, where am I masking? Where am I overriding my sensory signals? Where am I performing competence instead of inhabiting it? High-functioning women are often exceptionally skilled at adaptation. That skill can become identity. But adaptation is not your essence, and exhaustion is often the signal that compensation has reached its limit. You are not broken. You may be patterned, and patterns can reorganize when safety increases. In the next episode, we're going to widen the frame. We will explore how some entire professional systems train high-functioning adults to disconnect from emotion in the name of performance, and why that conditioning eventually backfires. Until then, approach recognition with curiosity, not urgency. Labels can validate, but regulation transforms. You are not broken, you are patterned, and patterns can be recalibrated.